Good evening, Nubian guys and goddesses, ladies and gentlemen. You might hear some noise other than the music that's playing. This is calm jazz music. No, it's my music. There's no copyright. I'm reading the next section, which is my fifth section of group identity and political change. I hope all is well with everyone. You know, as I read this, I know it took place in the 60s, but everything just seems to sound so familiar. You know what I mean? We've come so far, but have so much further to go. So, with no further ado, the author goes on to say that of all the new racial situations created by the new politics, one of the most striking and possibly the least foreseen has come about in Israel. Israel itself presents one of the more remarkable examples of the interaction of political change and group identity. Jews are attempting, in the most explicitly political way, by creating their own state, to erase their marginality and outsiderness. They are seeking to give unambiguous national form to the ambiguities and varieties of the Jewish identity as it was shaped during 20 centuries of dispersion throughout the world. For Jews in Israel, as well as for Jews everywhere, the question of questions has become, who and what is a Jew? Who and what is a Jew? The answer bears on the Jew's culture, history, and nationality. If this were all, it would have been more than sufficient. To an unforeseen degree, however, in Israel it also bears on his color and physical characteristics. The flow of Jews into Israel, about 1.5 million in the last 20 years, has come into two main streams. The first from Eastern and Central Europe, the second from the West Asian or North African countries, Yemen, Iraq, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Tripolitania. The people of these two streams, the Western or European and the Eastern or Oriental, are now approximately equal in number in Israel's present population. This is what has begun to be called the two Israels. Many consider that it raises the most critical of the formidable problems the new Jewish state faces. It carries with it the most decisive implications, not only for what kind of cultural being, but also what kind of physical being the Israeli is going to be. Under the mantle of a largely undefined common Jewishness, in a tiny, crowded land facing all the tasks of rapid development under conditions of constant external threat, there is now a confrontation that sweeps out widely from the more specifically Jewish division between Ashkenazi and Sephardi, and becomes an encounter between European and non-European, Western and Eastern, modern and traditional, industrialized and non-industrialized, skilled and unskilled, educated and uneducated, and also white and non-white. As anyone who stands on a street of an Israeli city can observe, The ingathering of the long-wandering tribes of Israel has dramatically shown the extent to which Jews have become not only the cultural but also the physical products of the cultures in which they lived as outsiders for so long. And of course he would know that, the author with his travels, he would know that. The European Jews appear in all the ethnic varieties of Europeans, and Oriental Jews appear in all the shades of whiteness to semi-whiteness to non-whiteness of skin common among the people of the countries in which they lived. Jews seeking to regain homogeneity in Israel now not only have to bridge all the great differences of culture and civilization that separate peoples of industrialized and non-industrialized societies, but also have to close the gap of color. These cultural and racial differences among Jews will have a large and perhaps critical role in all Israeli affairs, unless they are blunted and ultimately resolved by some new synthesis, some new process of mutual accommodation and absorption. They could generate painful and perhaps destructive tensions and conflicts in Israeli society. Assuming the best of all possible outcomes, the successful integration of the two Israels will mean the emergence of Israel's own kind of modernized society. It will also have to mean, as the generations pass, the effective intermingling of these different ethnic streams. Out of this will come an Israeli who will be not only some different kind of Jew, but also a different physical type. A remingling of whatever it was that Jews retained or acquired during their long sojourns among others. This will make Israelis a very different kind of people indeed from, for example, the other great mass of Jews pursuing their own distinctive development in the United States. And when a person is reading this, or somebody that you tell it to, or, they might, be thinking, well, what does this have to do with race and color? And, it has a lot to do with this is going deep into the dynamics. The book is Daedalus, Color and Race. And there are 17 different authors who have contributed to the different research articles in this book. And I just really enjoy reading it and getting this information that isn't taught. You have to seek and find for yourself. And if you really want to be a well-educated person, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Don't wait for somebody to stick a book in front of you. You put the book in front of you. My next reading from Harold Isaacs, R. Isaacs, in the 7th section will be getting into, let me just share a little bit with you. I'll just break it down real quick a little bit. There was a man who made a cartoon, and he drew a drunk pounding his fist on a bar proclaiming he hates everybody. And I'll be getting into that. I'm not going to wait. I'm trying to get these out as expeditiously as I can. But nevertheless, you can always go back and listen to all the videos. I have a lot of different things that I'm planning that are coming up. I am so glad you're here. Please bear with me, because there's lots more to come. I wish you peace, love, and light. I am Empress Wahid. Hotep.